Have you ever felt like your mind is a runaway train, speeding through an endless loop of worries, to-do lists, and what-ifs? We all have moments when we feel overwhelmed, disconnected from ourselves and the world around us. In these times, we often search for a way to quiet the noise and find a little peace. Today, we're going to step away from the chaos and journey into the serene world of Zen. We'll explore 5 ancient stories that have been passed down for centuries. These aren't just simple tales. They're profound lessons wrapped in beautiful simplicity, designed to help us see our lives, our problems, and ourselves in a new light. They hold the power to bring clarity, inspire change, and guide us toward a more mindful and fulfilling existence. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin our journey. Our first story is called The Empty Cup. A highly educated professor, proud of his vast knowledge, once visited a Zen master to learn about Zen. As the master began to speak, the professor constantly interrupted him, eager to showcase his own understanding and opinions. The master listened patiently, then he started to pour tea for the professor. He filled the cup to the brim, but he didn't stop. The tea overflowed, spilling onto the saucer and then onto the table. The professor, shocked, shouted, "Stop! The cup is full, no more will go in." The master calmly looked at him and said, "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" This story is a powerful reminder about the nature of learning and growth. How often do we approach new situations or people with a mind that's already made up? We think we know best, we have all the answers, but this full cup attitude prevents us from truly listening, from learning anything new. To truly grow, whether it's in our careers, relationships, or personal development, we must be willing to empty our minds. We need to set aside our preconceptions and be open to new perspectives. It's about cultivating humility and recognizing that there is always more to learn. So the next time you face a new challenge or conversation, ask yourself, is my cup empty and ready to receive, or is it already overflowing? Next, we have the story of the farmer's luck. There was an old farmer whose only horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him, saying, "What bad luck." The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." A few days later, his horse returned, bringing with it a herd of wild horses. The neighbors gathered again, this time exclaiming, "What good luck." The farmer again replied, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son was trying to tame one of the wild horses when he was thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbors came around once more, shaking their heads. "What terrible luck," they said. The farmer calmly responded, "Maybe." A week later, military officials came to the village to conscript all able-bodied young men for a war. They saw the farmer's son with his broken leg and passed him by. The neighbors, once again amazed, said, "What incredible good luck you have." The farmer, as always, just said, "Maybe." This story beautifully illustrates the Zen concept of non-judgment. We are so quick to label events in our lives as good or bad. A job loss is bad, a promotion is good. A breakup is bad, a new relationship is good, but the truth is, we rarely see the whole picture. What seems like a disaster today might be the catalyst for a wonderful new beginning tomorrow. And what feels like a great victory might lead to unforeseen challenges down the road. The farmer teaches us to embrace the uncertainty of life. Instead of getting swept away by the highs and lows, we can cultivate a sense of calm acceptance. We can simply observe what happens without immediately slapping a label on it. This doesn't mean being passive, it means being wise. It means understanding that life is a complex tapestry, and we only see a tiny thread at any given moment. Our third story is about 2 monks and a woman. 2 monks, 1 senior and 1 junior, were traveling together. They came to a river with a strong current. A beautiful young woman was standing there, afraid to cross. She asked the monks if they could help her. Without a word, the senior monk picked her up, carried her across the river, and set her down on the other side. The junior monk was speechless. Monks were forbidden from touching women. He was scandalized by his master's actions, but said nothing. For the rest of the day, he fumed. His mind was filled with judgmental thoughts about what the senior monk had done. Finally, that evening, he couldn't hold it in any longer. He burst out, "How could you do that? We are not allowed to touch women. You broke our vows." The senior monk looked at him and said, "I left a woman by the river this morning. Are you still carrying her?" This is a profound lesson about letting go of mental baggage. The junior monk wasn't physically carrying the woman, but he was carrying the weight of his judgment, anger, and resentment for hours. How often do we do this in our own lives? We hold on to past arguments, old grudges, and negative experiences long after they're over. We replay them in our minds, letting them poison our present moment. The senior monk, on the other hand, dealt with the situation in the moment, and then immediately let it go. He was present and compassionate when needed, and then he moved on. This story challenges us to examine what we are still carrying. What old burdens are you holding on to that you could set down right now? True freedom is found not in avoiding difficult situations, but in our ability to release them once they have passed. Now for our fourth story, the stone mind. A young, eager student approached his Zen master. "Master," he said, "I want to attain enlightenment. I will do anything. How long will it take?" The master looked at him and said, 10 years. The student was a bit disappointed. "But master," he pleaded, "I am a very hard worker. I will meditate for 10 hours a day. I will follow every instruction perfectly. If I work that hard, how long will it take then?" The master thought for a moment and replied, 20 years. The student was shocked. 20 years? But why? What if I dedicate every single second of my life to it? I won't sleep. I won't eat. I will only strive for enlightenment. The master smiled gently and said, "In that case, it will take 30 years. The student was confused. "I don't understand. The harder I try, the longer it takes?" The master explained, "When you have one eye on the goal, you only have one eye left for the journey." This tale speaks directly to our modern obsession with outcomes and goals. We are so focused on getting to the destination, the promotion, the perfect relationship, the ideal weight, that we completely miss the journey itself. We treat life as a series of boxes to be checked, and in doing so, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. The path to any meaningful achievement, whether it's enlightenment or a personal goal, is not about frantic, desperate effort. It's about mindful, consistent practice. It's about being fully present in the process. When we can let go of our desperate attachment to the result and simply focus on doing the work in front of us with our full attention, we actually move forward more effectively and more joyfully. The journey itself becomes the reward. Finally, we arrive at our fifth story, nothing exists. One day, a brash young warrior went to challenge an old Zen master. He strode into the temple and declared, "I have heard that you teach the idea that nothing exists, that the self is an illusion, that everything is empty." "Well, I don't believe it." He drew his sword. "Do you see this sword? It is real. Do you feel the ground beneath your feet? It is real. I am real. To prove it, I will cut you down." The master remained perfectly calm. He looked at the warrior and said softly, "And do you see this anger you are feeling? This pride? This desire to prove yourself? Where does that exist?" The warrior was taken aback. He stood frozen for a moment, his anger suddenly seeming foolish and hollow. He slowly lowered his sword, bowed to the master, and walked away in silence. This story isn't about denying physical reality. The sword was real. The ground was real. It's about the nature of our internal world, our thoughts, emotions, and ego. The warrior was completely controlled by his feelings. His anger and pride were so powerful that they felt more real to him than anything else. He identified with them completely. The master's question was a mirror, forcing the warrior to see that these intense feelings are not solid, permanent things. They are temporary states that arise and pass away. They are constructs of the mind. By not reacting, by simply pointing to the source of the warrior's aggression, the master showed him that he was a slave to his own inner turmoil. This is a lesson for all of us. When we feel overwhelmed by anger, fear, or jealousy, we can take a step back and ask, where does this feeling exist? By observing it without identifying with it, we take away its power. We realize that we are not our emotions. We are the awareness that observes them. And there we have it. 5 simple stories with the power to change our perspective. From emptying our cup to be ready to learn, to accepting the unpredictable nature of life, to letting go of the burdens we carry, to focusing on the journey instead of the destination. And finally, to understanding that we are not our fleeting emotions. These are not just concepts to be understood. They are practices to be lived. They invite us to be more present, more compassionate, and more at peace with ourselves and the world. The wisdom of Zen is not found in a distant monastery, but right here, in this moment, in the way we choose to see and respond to our lives. Which story resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you found value in these stories, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that helps us navigate life with a little more clarity and peace. Until next time, be well and be present.